But before we get into it, going to pay a couple bills and remind everyone tuning in that we are presented by BetOnline.ag. Continue to be presented by them, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, get in on the $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker. Unwind with over 150 slot games and more. Head on over to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Also want to remind everyone that we continue to be presented by Chris Anicetti and his team over at Oakbridge Wealth Management. If you are a current or future professional athlete or NCAA athlete with NIL deals, Chris is the man to get in touch with, and his team at Oakbridge Wealth Management will put together a bespoke financial plan to help you do what you do best, which is perform on the field. They do one thing, and that is take care of athletes. They know what your demands are every single day, so they take care of your money for you. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE, or go over to the website OakbridgeWealthMGMT.com. That's Chris Anicetti and Oakbridge Wealth Management.
This shit feel like A7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven.
All right, welcome back to the Believe in Badgers / Money Down Badgers / CFB Week 5 postgame show. We are here with the whole crew, the legend himself, the Hebrew Hammer, Matt Bernstein, Sweet Feet James White, Sojourn Shelton, Clint Cosgrove will be with us at some point here shortly too. As I catch a frog in my throat. But it's been that kind of day for all of us, I feel like, here in Badger Nation, if you want to call it that. Tough loss, tale of two halves kind of game, Wisconsin versus USC. If you're watching this right now, I assume that you saw the game, but in case you didn't, just like a quick recap: Badgers lose 38-21, cause 3 turnovers in the first half, get out to a 21-10 halftime lead. USC has a massive third quarter and proceeds on that same path in the fourth quarter, outscoring Wisconsin 28-0 in the second half. And so you really just saw sort of like 2 different teams step up to play today. So I guess I want to sort of start with you, Bernie. Like we would usually on Monday Morning Fullback, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I thought there was some of each today. So let's start, though, with the bad. What was the number one bad for you that you saw during this game?
I got a lot of randoms, but I think the tale of two cities is killer, right? We came out 21-10. I mean, we caused 3 turnovers. They made some mistakes. We capitalized, which is how you win football games. The second half, we just did nothing. I mean, on offense, we stalled out completely. It was brutal to watch. I mean, that 4th and 1 in the shotgun, everyone on the planet has told me that it was the ugliest play. And then I watched it on TV, and it was pretty brutal. So those things are tough. I guess they're bad, right? We gave up almost 500 yards on offense. I actually think if you really look at the game, the only reason it was 21-10 is because they gave up 3 turnovers in the first half. They moved the ball almost at will, and our defense played good. I mean, they played well. They played better than they played. That guy Deuce, whatever, was so good. I mean, he was unstoppable. But that's where I'm going to go with it. You know, we just stalled out on offense, and we couldn't get anything rolling in the second half, and we gave up almost 500 yards. I mean, those are bad things.
Yeah, I mean, I thought in the first half they played excellent, capitalized on the turnovers. And I said this right before the second half. We had the ball, you know, that 2-minute drive before the half. I was like, we got to get 3 or 7 here. This is a big drive. We got nothing. Got nothing out of that one. we always talk about it. Bill Belichick always talks about it. That last 2 minutes, the last drive of the half, you got to get something out of it, especially if you get the ball at halftime. We could have got 3, went down, felt real good about ourselves, get the ball in the second half, go down, maybe get 3 or get 7. It's a 10-point swing for us. So I thought that was a big turning point for us. I think we could have just got another blow in there. I feel like that would have been, very excellent for us. We could have stalled out in that first drive in the second half, and we would have been a little bit of a better position. But yeah, it was just a tale of 2 halves. Offensively, first half, we start off the game with tempo. I mean, I've been waiting for this, for the last 2 years. I mean, I thought that's what Longo was going to bring. Obviously air raid and all that. I thought we were going to use a little bit more tempo, especially cause some confusion, get the defense tired, however it may be. That created the big play to Vinny Anthony. The second half, we didn't see any tempo. Where to go? You know what I'm saying? Like, keep using it. I mean, for what our offense is right now, I don't think we still have necessarily an identity at this point. So use some tempo, cause some confusion, make those guys get tired, challenge their communication. I wanted to see more of that. So second half, I felt like the offense just got real bland. Like run on first down, run on second down, throw on third down. Yeah, we're not built for that right now. And right now, I would say our offense in general, we're not built to, we can't make mistakes right now. We make mistakes, we turn the ball over, we put ourselves in a hole. We're not built to dig ourselves out of holes or fall down 7-10 points. We can't do that right now. That's just the facts of what it is. Sometimes you got to know your team. I know my team right now. We're 3 or 4 games into the season. We can't fall behind, by 10 points. We can't dig ourselves, out of that currently. So yeah, but I will say, I am proud of the way those guys fought. I thought we were kind of, outmatched in this game. Looking into it with some of the playmakers that those guys had. And look, those guys, they showed up, constantly throughout the game. Jacoby Lane, Deuce Robinson. I thought we did a decent job on Zachariah Branch. He's a dude that you get the ball to him, he can, explode, take it to the house at any time. Thought we handled him pretty well. But Jacoby Lane, he had himself a day, and that's what they did. They used their playmakers. Look, they got one-on-ones. I'm throwing it up to him. Scramble. I'm throwing it to Jacoby Lane. I trust him. He's going to go out there and make a play. He did it all game long. So we did it in the first half. Second half, we didn't quite do that. But, yeah, it's tough, man. I'm happy the way they fought. Second half offensively was brutal. Defensively, I thought they played their tails off. I thought that was the hardest game they played, all year long. Fighting against the run, making plays in the passing game. You may have a mess up or a play or two, then come back a few plays later, come back and, make up for whatever, make a tackle for loss or break up a pass. It's tough. Yeah, I would say third down efficiency was terrible. That's why you can't extend drives. 2 for 10 the whole game. Had 1 first down conversion in the first half, 1 first down conversion, and the third down conversion in the second half. So you can't extend drives. If you can't do that, I think that's a big issue. And like USC, they kept showing. I'm ranting a little bit here. They kept showing, their everybody have the line of scrimmage look on third down. I thought in the first half, we did a decent job motion the running back, kind of see where they're in. Then get a play out of that. Second half, feel like we didn't do much of nothing to really figure that out. Give the quarterback some more tools or some more knowledge to see what's going on. What coverage they're actually bringing in. Find an answer. It was tough, man. But definitely happy the way those guys fought. I said, those guys have a ton of good players on USC. They're a decent football team. We held our own. Said no moral victories here. We held our own in the first half, but yeah, second half was tough.
and I think that was, we kind of like me, James, and Perk. We kind of talked about it a little bit before. We went live, and it just kind of seemed like we were shocked the way that we handled that first half, right? Mm-hmm. Like it just seemed like it kind of, to me, it was like, man, that second half is like, did we, we didn't have an answer for how we were going to handle the second half. Like that first half game plan, whatever it was perfect. We came out doing stuff that nobody had seen on film. We got one-on-one on the outsides. We took the shots. You seen how helpful that was and where it got us to be able to move the ball. Getting Will Pollard in the middle and get him in space. It kind of threw USC's defense off. And it just seems like in the second half, we went back to what teams were preparing for, which is, what I'm saying? Which is, we don't even know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Running the ball, just a lot of mental errors, from and I don't want to say the coaching staff, but I mean, that's what it kind of boils down to. Those are the guys that are calling them plays, right? And, we don't ever want to attack nobody, but, that's just honestly what it is. So it's just, to me, it's super hurtful to to put together such a good game plan in the first half, man. That was a great first half from our offense, being able to move the ball, running the ball. We bullied USC's defensive line. We picking up 4 or 5 yards a carry. And then it's like, we get to the second half and it's like, obviously us being able to take shots down the field and get, our guys the ball in space. It kind of, lightened that defense up. And it just seemed like second half, we went right back to what we've been doing these first 3 weeks, which games 1 and 2, right? Like nobody's satisfied with how we won those games.
Yeah. And
And then you seen what happened to us in game 3. We ran into a juggernaut and we were overmatched. So here it is. I think it was a good measuring stick. James, like you said, no moral victories, but I did see a lot of things from this game in that first half, even the second half, that we can build off of. When you get, second half, hey, 4th and 1, stop doing come on, like
no direct downhill run. You need some gadgets or some moving parts. Like.
And it's crazy. You seen USC do it. USC ran a 4th and 1 out of the gun, and they added the QB runoff of it, like the QB option. If he crashed too hard, you keep it. Go get that yard. And that dude turned that yard into a touchdown.
Yep.
And I know B-Lock can do that. So it's just certain things, man, that I hope that we build off of going into next week. And everybody buckle up, man. It's gonna be an interesting ride.
Yeah, could be a bumpy ride for sure. But yeah, I said on that 4th down, like I said, I don't mind it being in the shotgun. If you're gonna be in shotgun, do a downhill run. You got to have QB option, maybe RPO, all 3 of them, 3 options on the play. They crash, keep it. They have somebody there to stop you, and it should be somebody else in the flat or a slant or something where you can throw it. So you have many options on that play. I don't think we're built right now to where we're bullying anybody at the line of scrimmage where we're just running a direct run from the shotgun and we think we're going to get it. We haven't proven that. So that would not be my answer as an offensive coordinator. I'm not relying upon that. I'm going to have a few options on the play to where, look, they crash on that, throw it, keep it, however it may be. Because Miller Moss, I would say he's just as athletic as Braden Locke. Braden Locke, he can give me 1 or 2 yards on the QB option. I believe that. Yeah. Miller Moss not that athletic. He made Hunter Waller miss. Well, did a little whatever. Hit his head in the end zone, scored. Looked nasty, looked like it hurt, but he got the job done. But yeah, man, it's tough. Like I said, we got a few more tough. I mean, I think every game will be tough for us. I think throughout the Big Ten looks pretty solid. You got teams like Rutgers look good, Illinois look good. So it's quite a few other challenges that we may not have thought. Good. Yeah, Indiana look all right too. I'll say that.
Indiana look good. Like it's about to get real shit.
So ain't too many cupcake games, throughout the rest of the season. So guys gonna have to play and really step up to the challenge. I think defensively just have to keep up that same intensity. That's what I want to see from them, because I thought they called the game more aggressive defensively too, which I like. Even on the touchdown to Deuce Robinson, we call cover 0. I like it. I like it. You see, I love it. That's just a great play, great offense. Look, big 6'6" receiver against Hunter Waller. Yeah, they'll probably take that matchup, but hey, it was almost a PBU. You take a shot on the quarterback. Hey, I like that. Then whatever, dropping 8 or just sitting back and a little walk-in touchdown. So I do like that, man. They were a little bit more aggressive defensively, sending blitzers and things of that nature. Getting some shots on the quarterback. So I thought that was huge.
Yeah,
so,
even
no, Sojourn, go for it.
And like even because I know that was such a key play. Like everybody, even the whole cover 0, like I loved it, and that's a tough play for Hunter to make. Like somebody I think tweeted me like, oh, why, if they're bringing too much. Like I think Hunter did a terrific job. He didn't back up in the end zone like how most DBs. Like I even say myself, like sometimes I would back into the end zone. Like there's nowhere you can go. We're bringing more than they can block. It just so happened to be the receiver got across his face, which may happen sometimes. And he was a big body receiver. He's gonna box you out. So you got to be able to get 6'6". He played big. Like I know you had to stop one in Branch, and USC has some weapons, man. They can, they gonna have some guys that's gonna be able to threaten a lot of defenses on the outsides, and then with one in the slot, you're gonna have to, you gotta give your hats off to them. They got players that are gonna make plays. But I just think overall, like I even the defense, I'm extremely proud of them. Our D-line got pressure that we didn't see this pressure in a long time. The quarterback seemed a little rattled. We caused turnovers, and that's winning football. You're gonna play against some teams, especially in today's era of ball. right? Like you said, you're gonna throw for 500 yards. You're gonna, total offense, right? You're gonna face those teams that are gonna be able to move the ball. But how your defense bows up, how they get those stops, how they create turnovers is what you got to build off of. And I mean, can't actually, the defense to cause more turnovers. Like I truly think this was a meltdown on offense, and not to, we'll never single out, one play or, you always got to play great on all three phases of the ball. But I think if our offense would have just gave us a little bit more in that second half, we could have made one or two plays here and there that could have got us over the hump today.
Listen, Sojourn, coming from an offensive guy, we held the ball for under 20 minutes.
Yes,
we're asking our defense to do a lot.
Yeah. And they look gassed too. They look gassed. Like it was bad.
They played 40 minutes of college football at USC. That's a lot. That's a big pill to swallow for dudes that are don't submit. I mean, I think our offense is the issue at this point, and I will stand on that. I think our defense played much better. The improvement they've made is huge for me. I will say that I love the competition first half. I mean, we really came out outside of the first kickoff penalty, which I thought was just like so asinine because it's one of those things we just keep doing stupid things. But we competed first half, but still, offense gives our defense no rest. I mean, we're a bunch of 3 and outs. We're not getting fourth downs. We had 2 turnovers in the second half. Like, you're asking these dudes to play football. 20 minutes on offense is not. They had over 80 plays.
Yep.
That's not normal. That's like 20 plays over the average. So I have a question for both of you guys. Because, Sojourn, you played – my screen's all messed up. I'm sorry, guys. But, Sojourn, you played on some great defenses. James, you played for one of the best, defensive minds in the world. It looks like, to me, our adjustments at half just are not even coming close to other teams. It looks like our second half, other teams are coming out. They figured us out, and they're taking advantage of us. Is that what you guys are seeing? How important is the adjustments? We gave up 28 points in the second half. It was scoring zero.
I feel like today it wasn't even about the scheme. I just feel like their dudes just made plays. Like a lot of these catches and throws, our dudes were right there.
Right there.
It was just great. But they got 6'4" receiver Jacoby Lane. They got 6'6" receiver Deuce Robinson. They just throwing it up to their guys. We got 5'10" corner, whatever 6-foot corner. It's tough, they're great ball placement. Those guys are very good. They're very talented. So I thought defensively, the scheme was all right today. I thought they kept, being aggressive. I thought they were, they're doing their best to try and disrupt, their passing game, the run game. They dialed Lincoln Riley, that offense. They dialed up some great plays, man. I mean, getting the running back some screens and space, and we dialed up some pressure. 4 ran hard. He didn't fumble the rock or nothing like that. So I thought their scheme was good. I mean, it's going to be a challenge going up against the Lincoln Riley offense. You're not going to shut that offense down for 4 quarters. Eventually, they're going to find some holes in it, and their players are going to make plays. So I thought they held their own. I thought on the other side, just offensively, we didn't keep the same type of emphasis and aggressiveness on offense to go out there and win that game. I thought we got a little too conservative. It was time to turn it on again. It was too late. You know what I mean? So we're not an offense that can kind of sputter, pick it back up, sputter, pick it. We rolling. We gotta keep that thing rolling right now. We can't really hit a pit stop because then we're stuck, man. Like we got guys that can make plays. We saw guys do it today. Like I said, Benny Anthony did it. Bryson Green made some plays. Threw it up to C.J. Williams a couple times. He almost had a one-on-one catch. So we got guys that potentially go out there and get it in one-on-one situations. Not that we had to throw the ball 60 yards down the field every single play, but look, those guys, we got some big targets. Let them go out there and see if they can do it every now and then. Make the defense respect it. And I love the rotation from the running backs early on in the game too. Yeah. You had Chaz, you had Dupree in there, you had Walker in there, you had Yakimelli in there. Mix it up, keep those guys fresh. Make the defense think a little bit about who's in the backfield, what plays are in there. I thought Dupree could have been involved a little bit more. I thought he disappeared, kind of after like the second quarter, and they brought him back in like the third or fourth quarter or so. Keep him in the mix. Keep that guy. I think he's very talented. Just swing passes, bubble screens, get him in space, get him comfortable, get that kid going. I want to see some more Dupree. I respect Chaz. I respect Walker. He ran hard. He had some good runs. I just think Dupree brings a little bit something different to the table, and just keep mixing that kid in there.
The one thing I will say is that I felt like the play calling was more creative than it had been. Well, definitely in with against the game against Alabama, right? Because obviously he had been prepped for that. They had 2 weeks for USC, so they could put more in the playbook, etc. But I did feel like, especially obviously in the first half, but Locke was playing with confidence, like playing with a lot of confidence. And then to go 3 and out to start the second half, that like it snowballed pretty quickly, I felt. And then obviously I think sort of the key moment in the game was the fumbled punt. And that to me, that's when it became like, okay, Wisconsin had just stopped them on defense, right? They had just finally gotten home on third down and were able to stop them, right? Because third downs were killing them all game. They muff the punt, USC gets it back, and then is able to take the ball, go and go in and get up. And from there, it was kind of just like the floodgates had opened, right? And then it just felt like all the momentum, all of like everything. And then like, because like you knew, like you just saw the body language of the defenders coming back when they had to come right back on the field. Like that is tough. Like, what does that feel like, Soj, when like when that happens? Because it's gotta hurt.
And that's what, you know, I think something that every team is different. You know, I know when people get in there, like, you know, you go into halftime and you make all these adjustments, like there's no magic adjustments. When I tell you adjustments are sometimes so small, whether a DN is crashing a little bit harder or a D tackle, like I think people get in there like, you know, like we changed the whole defense. No, you might change one little detail that is that important. I just think it's extremely tough when you play in a Lincoln Riley offense like that. That's always been his strong suit, even when he was in Oklahoma, right? Like you had times where they would start real slow and you would say, all right, like second half, you know, he might have a quarter where he might drop 21 points and he might dial it up and he, you know, he figures out what you're in and he's making the right calls. I think the screens that he was calling in that second half was perfect play calls. Like he was catching us when we were bringing pressure and it's literally a little dump and you got a running back that's able to pick up 10 yards and get those tough yards and sometimes, you know, make some plays and make guys miss. I just think, you know, it's tough to be able to go out there and cover that type of offense for, you know, like you said, it was, I want to say 80 plays or more. You're gonna cave in and fail at some point. That's why I just think we needed to be more aggressive on the offense side of the ball, even in that second half. And Matt, I know you say like you feel like there was a lot more creativity. I don't even think it was creativity. I think it was you got one-on-one on the outside, give them a chance to make the play, and they made the plays. And then you see in the second half, it's like, I know, again, we always talk about it. There's only so many coverages you can run. If it's too high, you know, you might have a cover 6 or something like that, but it's either 4 or cover 2. Or 2-man. You got one high, it's either cover 1 or it's cover 3. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, obviously, the safeties are going to tell you what coverages they're in because those are the guys that have to move with the disguise. But every time we see one-on-one on the outside, give BG a chance to go out there and make a play. Get Will Pollard in one-on-one. And if he drop it, like there was a key drop that he had where, you know what I'm saying, I think Braden threw it a little bit too far, but it was still a catchable ball that Will should have caught. But it's still like, just because a player drops it, go to it again. You know, maybe in another drive or two, go to that same play if you get the look that you want to get. I just think in the second half there was none of the basic stuff, as in if I see you in this, I'm gonna run this. And I think we just went behind the 8 ball when when momentum changes, which don't get me wrong, the muff punt was extremely important. And I never like to pin one play the reason why a team
and it's never just one play.
And it's never just one play.
The momentum just shifted.
But the momentum shifted for sure. Momentum shifted for sure. But I think as a coach, you got to feel that too. Like you, there's been games, James, I know you and I've been in where it's like, oh crap, like that's the play right there. Like momentum just shifted. I don't know. Somebody got to make a play. Either we got to make a play on offense or defense to even just get the momentum back to just neutral. And being on the road is tough. It's tough. So I think as a coaching staff, you have to also feel that too. Like, all right, I gotta dial something up for us to, you know what I'm saying, for us to at least feel for our players to at least get that confidence back in.
But that 4th and 1 would have been that for us, I think.
For sure.
And we, like you were talking about momentum, it never swung back in the second half.
Yeah.
It stayed with them at, the punt. You know what I loved is we got punched in the mouth coming off the ball. First series they scored. Then we score. We haven't done that in a long time. So that got me excited. We also threw a ball that, we're throwing some jump balls, but Miller Moss threw like 10 jump balls. They just came down with what felt like 8 of them, right? They looked like there could have been 3 picks out there. I want to see Braden Locke, the confidence in the first half when he's jumping around, screaming, having a good time. Second half, Braden Locke was so much different. And we have dudes who want the ball and you can throw up in the air. Let them go get it. And I want to take more shots. That's, you're right. The momentum shifted. We didn't get the 4th and 1. Throw some deep balls. And I think we threw 1 or 2 that was just way overthrown, out of bounds. You got to give our guys a shot to get it. So we're losing. Throw it up. It's okay.
But Burn, you want me to tell you something? I don't want to like compare coaches or nothing like that. But one thing that I've always heard Coach Chris say is, like, if you throw it to him and you drop it, throw it to him again. And I think that's the difference between a Lincoln Riley offense and what you've seen. Like you said, they took, 10 jump balls. And we did make plays on the jump ball. I think Rico might have, I know it was like the penalties might have offset or whatever, but Rico got his hand. Yeah. Rico got his hands on the ball. I know one guy caught a pick off a jump ball.
Even 3 almost had a little one-handed pick in the end zone. 3 almost had
a one-handed pick in the end zone, but guess what? Stayed the same. USC kept throwing them. They kept throwing the shots. So no matter, and James, you talked about it. It's college football. A lot of these corners can't play. They can't play the ball in the sky. Yeah. You either seeing a PI, or you seeing somebody make a great play down the field, like a lot of the USC receivers did. And I think, early on in the first half, we had that advantage. We had guys making plays on the outside. I just don't understand why get away from that. Like, if it's working, you hear it all the time. If it's working, you know what I'm saying? If it don't bend, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's working, keep running it.
Yeah, even with USC, when they took the lead, they were throwing the ball to move the ball. They wasn't even running the rock. They had no fears. Like, we just gonna keep throwing it, keep moving the ball. And that's the type of offense that we obviously thought we were gonna have, where look, people know we're gonna throw, we still gonna throw it, get 4 or 5 yards, 6 yards, move those sticks. So I think just offensively, we just gotta find a way to extend drives. We had in the second half, we had 1 drive of 9 plays. Now that's when we went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. After that, it was 3 plays, 4 plays, 2 plays, 4 plays. It's like, you ain't like, come on, man. We ain't winning no football. Having 2 and 4 play drives. Like, you got to be able to have those 10 play drives every now and then. Not to say that every drive has to be like that, but when it gets in crunch time, we got to be able to make it. Got to be able to convert on 3rd down. So I think that should be an emphasis going into the next week. We got to work on our 3rd down offense. Look, we get it. We get in 3rd and 6 plus. Look, nobody's fearing us right now. We can't do shit. Like, we gotta dial it up. We're gonna have to help the quarterback up, help him, figure out the coverages, receivers. We got to win a one-on-one, whatever it may be, to make it easier on this entire offense. The offensive line played great. I gotta give them credit. They played great. They gave the quarterback plenty of time in the pocket to read stuff out, whatever it may be. The offensive line did a decent job in the run game. They ran for like 4 yards a carry. Man, it could be better, but the offensive line gave us a chance, man. So I think they hold their own. Receivers, we got to win. Quarterback, you got to find these guys, and even if they're not, wide open, just give them a chance, throw it to them, see if they make a play. Like we keep saying, these DBs, they're not gonna break up or intercept all these passes, man. That's why they had DB. No offense, so that's why they had DB. It's always it's a special 1 or 2 or 3 corners in all college football every year that can go out there and book something like a Travis Hunter or some of these other guys, but most of them they ain't gonna catch it. They're gonna either swat it, incomplete pass, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? And punt it. So
most of them gonna drop them, and that's my case. Like, I've caught a good amount of interceptions in college, but I also dropped a ton of them, more than I caught. And you're right, bro. Give your guys an opportunity, and also the ball, the route you're running, the ball is coming. I don't know. I'm running out there blind. That's where you get the PIs from. That's where you get the receivers. The corners, holding down the field. It just sucks, and it's kind of like discouraging for us to see that first half that we had. Like, oh, this is what we can't be. Like, when we take shots and when we kind of, kind of scheme it up to, okay, you in this, I'm throwing the ball deep. Okay, you in this, I'm gonna run you and I'm gonna hit you for 4 or 5 yards in a run game. It just showed that balance that I don't think we've seen in a long time. I feel like when James and when I was in college, we were either like really run heavy, and it's kind of like, all right, third downs, you got to throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
And then it just seemed like today it was like it could be 1st and 10, and you don't know if we're gonna run the ball, we're gonna throw the ball, we're gonna take a shot. Like, I think we have to get and stay on that mindset and track moving forward.
Yeah. Even you pop, like some people ask, like, do they believe like Fickle is the right guy? I think Fickle's he's doing a decent job, man. Look, we're doing I say this all the time, we're doing a complete 180 what we was doing when we was in college. We was a 22, 23 personnel, 12 personnel, all that, run the football probably 70% of the time. You know what I'm saying? And now they're trying to air it out, switch up the defense. You got to give it time, man. They gotta find guys that fit their scheme. They gotta find playmakers. Like we said in the chat, Jake Ferguson, tweet, he said, let's get back to the power eye. I was like, look, we not winning the chip with the power eye either. We got, you know what I'm saying? We gotta get some playmakers. We gotta get guys that fit the scheme and guys that are gonna go out here and consistently, play together and play the right way before things get a little bit better. I don't think no matter who's that head coach, we gotta have guys that are bought in, play together, and can make these plays, man. No matter what offense, air raid, power eye, triple option, you got to have the guys that can get it done for you. I think you go ahead. So
no, I ain't mean to cut you out. But no, to Ferg's comment, man, love Ferg, man, great player, great teammate. But I mean, if you see the game going on right now, we got teams scoring 28 in the first quarter or 21 in the first quarter. The power is not working no more. It's not working, my man. You got to be able to move the ball and score. And I think, what's kind of like mind-boggling to me a little bit is, we switched over to this air raid offense, but it's like we're not trying to do the stuff. Like today was the first game where it just actually seemed in that first half was like, if it work, it work. If it don't, I mean, this is the offense that we're running. Yeah. And we got to stay on that. If we're going to be, if Coach Fickle and his staff is going to be running the air raid offense, and that's what we're going with, go with it 110%. And if it don't work, then you have all offseason to figure it out. Like you said, James, this is year 2. A lot of coaches don't just come in and it doesn't just fire on all cylinders right away. Like, it usually takes time. And last year was an opportunity that we didn't capitalize on, which is seeing, what we had and if we needed to take more shots or whatever the case may be. And it's just following along the same lines this year. Like, if we're going to take shots, if we're going to be a team that's going to try to throw for 300 yards or whatever the case may be, we need to work it. We need to work it in game. And guys need to get in-game experience at this stuff.
Yep, let it fly. I see the question.
Yeah, James, I was going to say, I think this is a question that you are probably the best equipped to answer here. But from Tyler asking if, like, in college, are they scripted like they are plays scripted like they are in the NFL? I mean, it might be different for Bernie, for the offense that you played for as James, but at least when you were running, James, how scripted were your first 10, 15, 20 plays?
Yeah, it's pretty scripted, but it all depends on the flow of what's going on in that first drive. If things are working effectively, then you stay on script. You got your first third down call, got your first down call of the game, got your first red zone call. But look, things can switch up quickly. It all depends on the flow. The coaches have an idea of what their first 15, 20 plays will be. They will stick to within that box, but then after that, it's all about how the defense is matching up against you, how your guys are playing, and then those adjustments start to be made. Because sometimes those teams can do things a little bit different than what you game plan for. Then kind of got to get off that script. You can't just stick to it if things aren't working. But a lot of times you see these offenses walk the ball down the field. Yeah, the coach, he got that box and everything working. He just keeps punch right down. Like, let me just call this. Let me call this. Everything flowing. But after that, you kind of got to figure out how the defense is matching up against you, and that's how you kind of pick your plays in that call box. So it's different. I've never been an offensive coordinator. That's just my thoughts on it. It's just like, I know Bill would say it all the time. Like, go against like an Andy Reid or like a Josh Allen offense, like that script is gonna be tough. Those first 15 plays, you don't know what the hell they calling. Like they're gonna bring out all their gadgets. They're gonna all their game plan plays. They're gonna throw it out in that first drive. You kind of got to figure it out from there. So that's my idea on that script.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, usually come out in a bunch of different formations, see what the defense lines up, so you can kind of visualize. In trips, we should do this, and 2 tight ends, they'll have bring another linebacker out. You kind of feel them out, feel the defense out for what you are. But I would say situational, you're scripting plays that are not 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 usually. That's usually your go-to powers, and that's what we used to run, or your fullback dives, which we don't have anymore. But those aren't scripted, right? It's like the 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, like those plays are scripted, and the first 15 are. And I think it's actually kind of helpful because a coach doesn't need to, an offense coordinator is like, we're going to do these plays, and we're not going to stick to every one of them, but it does keep them on some kind of accountability to be like, hey, I'm going to mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up. This is what I said I was gonna do. We've practiced these plays, and we're gonna go do them. And if it's weird, then we just won't do it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I do think like we looked solid. To what Tyler said, I think that was his name. We looked really solid in the first 20, 30 plays that we ran. So are those plays scripted? I want to say yes, but I have no idea. But I would say that Longo has a sheet that says, these are 10 plays I need to see right away, and this is the different formations, and then we're going to rock with it from there.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me because you said, right, like you think about the whole plays being scripted, and you saying, like, these are the plays that I need to see, and if the first 15 plays are scripted, all 15 of them work. Like, I didn't see anything that – so why not continue? And I don't know, maybe they were continuing to run it. But it just that second half felt totally different, or maybe the energy, and it just felt different from what we saw in the first half. So if it worked in the first half, I don't understand why it's not working in the second half, because USC didn't look like they changed anything different. It honestly looks like whatever they game plan for coming in, it's like, all right, now we got them to run the stuff that that we've been watching film on.
Barry used to say, "Don't flinch," and it looked like we flinched in the second half.
I think we flinched.
Yeah,
it just looked offensively for sure. Listen, Lincoln Riley looked consistent the whole game. Like, he was not scared. 21-10. He's like, we're all good. And coming on the second half, like, we had no wind in our sail. We weren't attacking. We were just trying to get to the fourth quarter. We were winning up until 2 minutes left in the third quarter. I mean, we were beating USC, and then we just had no answers. And so I say that I've gotten texts. People are like, "Oh, Barry, we flinched." Sad to say it, but we didn't have that same energy in the first half. In the second half, like we did the first half. I think it's all energy.
Yeah. I just think we weren't. I just think we wasn't as aggressive offensively.
Yeah, that's why I said.
And that doesn't mean just throwing it down the field. I just feel like we just wasn't as aggressive, running the ball, nothing. Like, the energy just wasn't matched. And I thought we was just gonna keep running. I thought we were gonna keep running some tempo. I think that would be great for this offense, just because we don't have an identity right now. Use that tempo, cause some confusion, make them tired. Then we can create those big plays. I think that's a big reason why Vinny Anthony got behind the defense. That was something that teams weren't expecting from us. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, man. That could have created another big play for us, or a big run. I don't know what it would have resulted in, but in that second half, I feel like the first drive, we should have went back to the tempo. It don't matter if we were leading. Like I said, USC was beating us. They kept throwing the ball. They did not care. They didn't care about turnover, fumble, whatever, interception. We're going to throw it because we're confident in doing it. I thought we should have been confident from the first half, come out in the second half, still throw it and use some tempo. So, yeah, man, just keep the aggression, man. No matter whether you're winning, losing, just keep with it.
And you want to talk about like tempo and being out there and, all week, obviously USC played last week, but, all week they've been watching film on what we've done the first 3 weeks. And you come out there in tempo and you come out there in something totally different. I can tell you they're on that sideline scrambling like, Coach, what the hell is going on? Like, this ain't I didn't see 3 shots in the first 3 games. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do we got going on? They done threw 2-3 shots already on us, and it's only been in the first quarter or 1 or 2 quarters. So, and then as far as like flinching, I think flinching is more so. I say we flinched once we got behind, but I think even in the beginning of the third quarter, like you come out and you got to be able to still run the stuff. Like I see flinching being like a player thing versus your coach not calling the stuff and being aggressive and getting you to what got you to the lead and what got you to that point that you were in the third quarter. Yeah. That's why I just say I don't think it's flinching.
Yeah,
so maybe our offensive coordinator made it flinch a little bit, but I don't think the players went out there and played hard, man. I will say that. Like, that's one thing that I think a lot of us, like former Badgers, can be, prideful of. Like they fought with that Badger pride that we talked about as far as like that brotherhood, not giving up. Of course, that defense late got a little gassed, and I mean, rightfully so. You out there for 80 plays. I don't care who, NFL, whatever league, it's going to get tough.
Some shit,
You're going to give up stuff, especially when you play an offense that Lincoln Riley presents. I just think we played right into I think we played right into Lincoln Riley's hand of what he does well. He's a coach that no lead is safe. I don't care if you up 10 or you up 21. Like he presents an offense that can put up 21 points like this. It's like a Golden State Warriors type deal comparison. Like they're not afraid to be down 20. They can score just like this. Yeah. And I think we played perfectly into his hands of getting too conservative on the offense.
Yeah, my comparison is it's like a boxer. Like them first 4 rounds, we throwing our right hook. That joint working. We kept throwing it, and them last 4 rounds, we started trying our left hook. And that shit wasn't working. So go back to the right hook. That was working for us. You know what I'm saying? So look, man. Sometimes as an offensive coordinator, I know you try and switch things up in the first, second half, but look, man, that shit working for you. Keep calling it, man. Don't shy away from it. Like I said, there were some shots down the field in the second half, but look, I thought Will Paulding could have been more of a factor in this game too. But even all those slot receivers get the ball in their hands quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I need to see some jet sweeps, some little touch passes, get these guys in space a little bit more. I think I need to see more of that from the offense.
Do you see how Lincoln Riley used Branch?
Yeah.
And granted, Branch is a special player.
Yeah.
That boy gonna be first round. Whenever it is time for him to go to the league, nothing crazy don't happen. He going first round. We've been talking about it. Use Will like that. Put Will in motion. And we did. I don't want to say we put Will in motion, but we use motion to our advantage in the first half to see what they're in. Motion them back out. Motion them back in. See how those safeties react. Use Will that same way. Will is a special piece, man. Yeah. We haven't had a receiver like Will in a very long time. And we've had some good receivers in the past, a couple of years between, QT and, KP that's with Cincinnati right now. We've had some good guys at receiver, but Will is a special piece that I don't think we've had a slot guy like that who can determine what defenses are going to do. I can guarantee you defenses are keying in on 6 in those meeting rooms. Use him as that decoy and use him and get him on, certain stuff where you can take pressure off guys on the outside, which we did in the first half, and it worked. So I know we sound like a broken record talking about this first half thing, but it's the truth, man, and it is what it is. Like, if we can continue to play how we played in the first half, going down the stretch through the whole season, win or loss, we're going to present teams problems because we're showing something that they're not accustomed to.
Yeah, and I will say this too. Look, no offense to Braden Locke, we went to this game with our second option at quarterback too. So, like, look, most teams going into a game with a second option against a ranked team, it don't look so hot. So I will say that. So we got to take it with a grain of salt, man. Like maybe I'm not saying like Tyler Van Dyke is like the greatest ever or anything like that, but like most teams with a backup quarterback going on the road against a ranked team, things don't typically work right. So we got to manage our expectations too, thinking the first half looked great. They handled their business well. Then the second half, it kind of crumbled. I think overall, like I said, no more victories, but I think we can kind of have some sort of positive moving forward that these guys can potentially, be better than what we've seen because we saw some flashes. Now it just has to be very consistent going forward. Because like the Big Ten, it's pretty solid this year, man, from top to bottom. You know what I mean? So I think we got Purdue next, and then Rutgers. So Rutgers looks very good, and they're a physical football team. So,
and all of the Big Ten looks the same, right? Like we're so used to when you say Big Ten football, you thinking of run the ball 30, 40 times. Like the Big Ten has changed, right? Like Indiana can throw the hell out of the ball. Ohio State can throw the hell out of the ball. I think maybe the only team probably this year, which in normal years and other years they have the option to be able to run the ball effectively and throw the ball is Penn State. Like Penn State is you could tell they're still in that heavy run, offensive mindset. But if you look around the Big Ten, I mean, it's probably only 2 teams honestly like that, and the other team is probably Rutgers. Like Rutgers is 4-0, and they winning games playing great defense and being able to running the ball and controlling the clock. But other than that, everybody else is they know how to score the football. So I just think we're in a place where you either gonna miss the bus and get left, or you got to either adjust to what's going on around you, or you got to stick to the plan that you know, which is run the football and win games on defense and managing the clock.
Yeah, man.
So, question for Sweet Feet. We have a lot of athletes. How hard is it to get? I mean, we have 3 running backs. We have 5 wide receivers. How hard is it to get these guys moving and going and sharing the football? Vinny Anthony took over at the first drive. You almost didn't see him until the second half, maybe even the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How hard is you played on teams with dudes? How hard is it to get everyone going? And is it even possible?
I mean, I think it's possible, man. Everybody can have, certain plays that are schemed up for them, and on third down, like you have plays schemed up. Missed the Big Ten West. Yeah, that's over with.
It's over with.
No more easy routes. No more easy routes to the Big Ten championship. You got to be a top dog. Yeah, I don't think it's hard at all, man. You can scheme plays up. Every player can have 2 or 3 plays designed for them, in the playbook. Maybe on first, second down, and on third down, I'm designing it for my best guys that I know can consistently get open. I'm going to make some plays for me that I know are going to get the job done. I think that's what we did for the New England Patriots. Like, look, first and second down, we could design stuff up for Jules, Gronk, myself, Deion Lewis, LeGarrette Blount, Chris Hogan. On third down, look, based on what the defense is giving us, probably going to be Gronk, probably going to be Jules, probably going to be myself. Then, look, every now and then we're going to have some other guys that's going to win in one-on-one coverage based on, what the matchup is. So everybody's got to take that onus on, take that responsibility, especially on third down. I said right now, I think Will Pauling was missing third down last year. And right now, our third down offense kind of sucks right now. Some guys are going to have to emerge to be those guys that the quarterback can rely upon, the offensive coordinator can rely upon to dial it up so we can keep these drives going. Just, I know Warren's not on tonight, but he called me probably like an hour and a half ago saying we can't drive the ball for nothing. And I was like, we've had some drives throughout the game, but looking at the stat sheet, we really didn't have any drives. So he was pretty much right that we have to be able to sustain some drives, keep our defense off the field. For them to be on the field that long is tough, man. You're not gonna be able to last in this Big Ten with a lot of these teams, man. With your defense being on the field for 70 plus plays, that's hard. That's tough, man.
And you want to talk about controlling the clock? I feel like and hats off to our offensive line. They protected well, they blocked well. That is gonna be if I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm calling plays for Oregon, any team coming from the pack, you're gonna have to show me you're gonna be able to have to play this. You're gonna be able to have to show me you can play bully ball and your defensive line is gonna be able to hold up. And I just think early on we imposed our will. Like the offensive line moved guys. Running backs ran well. I don't know if the second half guys might have. I don't know if USC was running different looks or stunts or whatever the case may be. But I just feel like we didn't have that same mean mentality that we normally have. And teams like Oregon and USC, like I said, I know you guys run these fast paced offenses. I'm gonna slow you down a little bit, and you're gonna have to be able to show me that your guys are gonna be able to be more physical than us. I think that first half we were extremely physical. And you can see it too. Like it was glaring that we are a way more physical team than they are. Yeah. And in the second half, it was a totally different look. We played into their hands. Now they're going to take us to their world, which is tempo, taking shots, running all these plays, screens. And it showed it on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Bernie, we got to ask you. I know somebody put in the chat. It's a little bit of a different topic about the UNLV quarterback. What's your thoughts on, that whole ordeal? Him kind of leaving his football team to drive 3-0. It looks still pretty good today. It look good today. They look good today without him. So that money may be a little short now. You know what I'm saying? You getting that $100,000 no more. So I don't know what's your thoughts on that whole situation.
I mean, he was promised $100,000 and what they gave him $3,000.
I didn't know that. That's sick though. If they gave him 3, that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. They gave him some minimum amount of money. Listen, this whole landscape of football blows my mind. So that question's impossible to answer. I mean, if someone promised me $100,000 and I'm going out to play for peanuts, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. I know that I love football for football. And when I played, I didn't see anything free except for beers at Wando's at the end of the night. So, my brain is skewed to it. And I want to be – listen, I think players should get paid. There are guys who are not going to play in the NFL for a second, and they should monetize their likeness in college. And I think and some of these guys aren't going to play, and they have no chance of playing, but they can play in college, and they're good in college, and they should have something to live off of or something to start their life with. And I think people come from all different backgrounds. So I think there is that the ability to make money now is important. The UNLV guy, I give it up to him. It's a ballsy move. I think if you're promised something, you should get it.
Yeah.
So that's where my brain goes. But this NIL world is wonky at best. And I feel like nobody knows. I was having this argument, like, if I just went somewhere else for $1 million, do I have to stay there? There's no contract, right? I could just be there for a year and then just leave for another $1 million.
Yeah,
it's free agency.
The Saban was saying it on college game day. He's like, look, the players got to control now. He said we got to find a way to reel it back in, and they do. But in his situation, like I don't blame him. Like, look, you promised $100,000. Look, you can redshirt, leave, do what you need to do. But I said this on our podcast a couple of days ago. Like, you may go somewhere else. You may be all right. You may go somewhere else. You may not be. You still may not get that $100,000. So it's a tough situation. Hopefully he wins and goes somewhere and balls out, or maybe he ends up. I mean, I don't know if they bringing him back now. I don't know anybody coughing up that $100,000. If they balled out one today, they're like, oh look, we solid. We ain't got to pay nobody. You know what I mean? So
it's a bad look for UNLV though.
Yeah, it's bad for.
It's a bad look. Yeah, I mean, you can't be caught in NIL world and saying we're going to give you this and not, even if he's lying. I mean, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's extremely tough. I think it's more tougher than it was before, just by the quarterback having the performance he had today. I think we all was circling that game, maybe not watching it, but just trying to see like how is this quarterback gonna hold up, because they made such a big deal out of it. And he went out there and he handled his business, and he handled himself well in the press and in the media all throughout the week after the game, X, Y, and Z. So I feel like for the quarterback that did sit out in his red shirt, and it's more so now it's kind of because I feel like you kind of I don't want to say you want your team to go out there and lose, but you kind of
struggle a little bit,
but you want them to struggle a little bit, so you know what I'm saying, so the ball stays in your court, like pretty much like like y'all want to make it to the playoffs, which y'all got a real big opportunity and chance of doing. You might want to keep me, or you might want to pay this $100,000, which they talked about on College Game Day. In the grand scheme of things, $100,000 is not a lot of money. Like, I would think UNLV would be able to just, cough that up. But every school has a different, landscape and situation. But I know it's tough for them now, because I mean those first 3 games, we don't have their schedule right here in front of us, but I don't know if they played any tough teams, but now I think transferring even next year is just going to be like, well, yeah, do you want to, what's going to be your price tag then? Are you going to go up?
And like, what other schools going to want to do business with you? Yeah. Like if they know, because if there's a different side of the story that comes out and things like that, like
there are all these ifs. Listen, I think there's going to be a school that wants him, and I think there's going to be a school that's going to pay him $100,000 or whatever he wants. On some level, because this is where we are in this world.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a team that a quarterback gets hurt or 2 guys transfer, and they're left with nobody, and they need somebody. Look, we've done it 2 years in a row. We've gotten 2 transfers. Yeah. I'm not saying we're going to pick up the UNLV guy, but
he look pretty solid though.
I do look good, but I don't think his price tag is $100 no more.
Yeah,
like I think it's gonna be something crazy next.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of do a team pay him that, which I mean, he, like you said, he looked solid, he looked good, built the par. Like, but do you want to do business with him, and do you want to pay him whatever his tag may be, which is $200,000, $300,000? Like, I mean, you're probably gonna get into that whole scheme of if you really want a good quarterback in today's college football. You better be willing to pay close to 500. At least 500 and up. Like the numbers get real crazy when you talk about these quarterbacks. So it's just a matter if somebody want to bring them in.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Matt.
That kind of night. But before we get out of here, though, I'm going to ask each of you guys the same question. We got these hats from Melon Hats. So shout out to them. We've been doing a segment called "What Can You Hang Your Hat On?" My question to the three of you guys is, what is one thing the Badgers can hang their hat on after you've seen the first 4 games, this performance? What is one thing that you think the Badgers can hang their hat on moving forward through the rest of Big Ten play?
That first half. Go ahead. That's my answer. I don't say, but y'all can go ahead. That's my answer. That first half.
I'll just say the effort that I saw today was the best effort that I saw all year long. So if they can compete and fight the way they, especially for the offense, the first half, defensively, I thought they competed the whole game. Thought they did what they could against a pretty good offense. You can keep that effort up, keep that intensity up. On defense, the offense can find a way to be aggressive and still take shots and run the football. I think that's what I can hang my hat on. Like I said, I say it over again. I thought we were a little overmatched in this game based on the talent that they have and their ranked football team and all that. They held their own. So I kind of still walk out of that game with my head held high, thinking they can compete with anybody that steps on the field with them, but it just has to be that same intensity, going forward.
And I would say, just to piggyback on both of them, I can hang my hat on the improvement on the D-line and O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, from game 1 to today, these guys played hard. I really enjoyed watching the defensive front for a majority of the game, slanting and angling. They were making plays coming off the goal line in the second quarter. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And some of these guys' names, I'm like, who the heck is that guy? I got to look him up.
Yeah.
So you got guys who haven't played a lot of football for the Badgers who are improving. I thought the O-line, I think they got some confidence from Alabama. I mean, they are playing closer to bully ball, as I'll steal that from you, Sojourn, than that I'm used to in the past, 20 years seeing. So I'm excited about that. The one thing that I'm always, I guess can't hang my hat on is we had that one series that we melted down, and it reminded me of the bowl game with 4 minutes left in the bowl game last year. We had like 2 penalties. We were driving. That's when we had the nice kickoff return. We had like 2 or 3 penalties on offense, and then it's like we're all looking around like, who's going to do something here? And so that makes me nervous. But long story short, O-line, D-line improvement gets me excited for Big Ten football because we need to be physical, and those guys need to win in the trenches. And I think we have a chance to do some damage up front.
And it's just, I know I said the first half, but I was just going to shift to the receiver group. I mean, game 2, they showed us they can make plays. And then also today, they showed us that they can make plays, giving the opportunity. So, I know that, we know that we have the guys that can go out there. And I know we always talk about like all these other teams' weapons. We talk about Ohio State's weapons and all this stuff like that. And they are giving opportunities to make the plays. And for that first half, we gave our guys shots at, one-on-ones and being able to go out there and make big plays. So I think moving forward, that's something to hang our hat on. Coach, dial it up, give these guys the chance, and let's keep moving the ball down the field like how we did in the first 2 quarters.
Yes, sir. Throw it up.
Throw it up. Everybody else doing it. Throw it up.
Absolutely. Okay. Finish out with here. Guys, anything else catch your eye this college football weekend? Anything else you notice? I mean, right now we've seen Georgia putting together a bit of a second half against Alabama after getting boat raced in the first half. Anything else y'all notice on your locked in? Oh, okay. Hold on. I got to ask you guys about Miami, Virginia Tech last night.
Oh,
catch or no catch?
Catch. No, yeah. Catch just for the simple fact that like it was ruled a catch on the field, and it wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, and that's something that they've been emphasizing a lot lately in the NFL and in college football. If it's not enough evidence to change the call, they're not changing it, and they did that. They changed it last night. So I just say to stay consistent with what they've been preaching. I mean, catch.
I mean, I honestly didn't. I fell asleep at that part of the game. I didn't even see the replay, but so I can't really comment on it. But yeah, it's tough. If they called it, I agree. If they called it a catch and it wasn't enough evidence to prove it otherwise, That should have been a catch.
That was a wild game.
Yeah,
that was a wild ending to the game last night.
Yeah,
so
I think the last thing I saw was when I text y'all and I was like, Cam, man, looking rough for Miami, and I was gone after that. I was out.
Yeah, a couple of little Heisman moments in that game yesterday.
Cam Ward looked good, man.
Oh, Georgia's about to come back. Like, this is crazy.
All right. Well, we will hop off and let the rest of y'all watch the rest of Georgia at Alabama and the rest of this college football weekend. There's a late one, super late one tonight for Oregon UCLA, which I will be up for at least a little bit of because of my UCLA ties and just to see how Oregon look.
I was about to say, man,
it ain't good. It ain't good for UCLA. That is not a good college football team. Like, I'll tell you what, the Badgers can hang their hat on to wrap this up. That Purdue and UCLA are still in the Big Ten. That's what we ain't gonna be
at the bottom.
And Purdue, I'm sorry. Shout out Matt Stahl if you're listening, but like I'm very sorry for you. Okay, that's gonna do it here for us on our live Money Down crossover. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, for sending us your questions. We really appreciate it. Tune in to both Believe in Badgers and Money Down this week for let's think what we got coming this week. I guess from these shows, we've got Monday Morning Fullback. We've got Monday on Believe in Badgers. We've got Monday Night Live with Money Down. We'll have another Believe in Badgers interview probably sometime around Thursday. We'll have another Money Down for y'all sometime Thursday, Friday. So keep on tuning into the content. Keep on sharing it, subscribing, rating, reviewing, unrating, re-rating, resubscribing, re-reviewing.
All that.
Help us get all of those numbers up. And again, thank you for tuning in on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag and our man Chris Anicetti over at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Until next time, appreciate your time. On Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.
Keep shooting us the questions on socials. Keep shooting us the questions.